Hello there and welcome back to another unboxing video. I've got another train set which I am adding to my collection, and I thought it'd be great to have you join me as we unbox it because this one I'm extra excited for. I wanted something, it's the beginning of December and fall is winding down, and I just kind of wanted something to look back at the fall season. Fall is my favorite season of the year. There's just so many great holidays, Halloween, Thanksgiving, and then leading up to Christmas. So I wanted a train set that made me think of fall, kind of in its color scheme. And I think I found one. This is the LCCA, Lionel Collectors Club of America, Southern Pacific Black Widow set. If you don't know what the LCCA is, how many C's there are in there, it's a collector's club that has an annual due, and by becoming a member of that club, you get the catalog sent to your house, magazines as well with special articles. You could go to a local event that they host. But the part that, of course, is most interested to me is they have exclusive merchandise that is only available to members. So unless you buy it from the official store or buy it secondhand on eBay, this is the only way you can get this particular set. And I thought the Southern Pacific Black Widow set livery was just perfect for fall. You got the black, the orange, it just feels nice and cozy. And additionally, this is a passenger set, but I've got a few freight cars as well in the Black Widow livery as well. Both of them also LCCA exclusive items as well. So this should be pretty fun. Let's get down to it. So, for me personally, I have a little bit of experience with the Southern Pacific. I was born in '94, and of course the Southern Pacific lasted until '96 when it merged with the Union Pacific. And I was in this small town called Lebanon in Oregon, in the Willamette Valley, about, 10 to 15,000 people, not too big. But there was an old Southern Pacific branch there, and I always remember when I would see the cars as a kid. Keep in mind, my first memories are like when I'm 4 and up. And so this is like a few years after the merger with Union Pacific. I would see, like a Southern Pacific locomotive, and I always thought, I liked the, the livery, even though it was pretty simple. I liked the font of Southern Pacific, especially on the numbers, but I always thought, man, this railroad is really run down. I wish they paint their locomotives because I thought it was like still a running railroad and all. I didn't know that that wasn't going to be repainted. If they were going to be repainted, it was going to be in Union Pacific livery. Anyway, I eventually moved out of Lebanon and moved to the Treasure Valley, Boise, Idaho. So, yeah, no more Southern Pacific, but its successor, Union Pacific, is pretty prevalent around here. So, yeah, I've just been, this has been a railroad that has been with me for a long time, and this is the first time I'm getting it in Lionel form, in this special collector's club version of it. Has me really excited. So, we're starting off. This is interesting how they packed this. They packed it with some of the coaches on top first, which is interesting. Normally, they have the locomotive on top if it's like a see-through thing. But obviously, this was an opaque box, so I guess this just saves more space, which I'm all for, because some of those boxes on the ready-to-run sets are just huge. Spare rubber tires you get. Here's the Lion Chief locomotive remote that you get with it. Let's take a look at these passenger cars. So this one says Crocker. That was one of the original founders of the Southern Pacific as well. Had a role in the Central Pacific. Very involved in Transcontinental Railroad. This is about what I expected. This is kind of the higher end of the ready-to-run set. You're not going to get, a true scale all-metal coach, for this price at this line. But you do get the metal trucks, metal couplers, everything that is sturdy, that needs to be sturdy is... thing that I really like, though, is that they included a dome car with the set. Now, if you remember, in my collection, I have the Super Chief set from Santa Fe, but that one had 3 coaches. The dome car you had to purchase separately. So that they included it with just the space set and was very much appreciated. I can tell this is just kind of the same general tooling and molding as that, so overall, really cool though, because I just love the livery on this. But as you can see, it's their standard FT tooling. You get the standard manual for all that stuff. And finally, here we go. the actual locomotive, but let's get since I've been doing cars up until this time, let me do the observation car. These ones are always deceptive. If you remember my last unboxing, there's like a little bit of tape on the underside, or on the sides, that you kind of have to pry open. So I got one. Let me just, I think the best way is just to feel around between the two plastic layers and try to feel for where the actual tape is. This one's a bit more stubborn, so I will, there we go. And once you get the first set, the second set comes easily. And man, you know, I already said I like the livery, but this is just so sharp here. I think this Black Widow livery looks so nice. Again, you know, same basic car of the Santa Fe Super Chief one, but I don't know. I just think this one looks so much nicer with the Southern Pacific livery on it. That's just so cool, and you can see how it would kind of scream fall to me. Just a lot of fall colors, and the black is very sharp. So, all right, now let's. I'm gonna try to be a little bit more careful here, at least on the locomotive, because I just don't want to even. I just don't want to be jerking this around so much that something goes flying, and there my locomotive's on the floor, and that's not good for anybody. So I will actually purposely feel around for, excuse me, there we go. Purposely feel around for the tape on the sides here. It really is kind of interesting that, you know, if you're looking for kind of like an FT type locomotive, you know, this time is really a great time to get it, because Lionel has so many versions of it, obviously, but then you got Menards doing their things with the more affordable types. So if you were ever a fan of this type of locomotive and really wanted to get it, you know, you have so many options available nowadays at a lot of different price points as well. Like I said earlier, this one kind of tends to the upper range of the ready-to-run sets, you know, kind of $400 to $500. So, is that all of them? It should be. And I can just take this little, there's one in the center. One in the center, maybe two in the center. I appreciate the secure packaging. Just a little bit of a pain when actually unboxing. But here we go, the big moment, the trademark blue ribbons here. Actually, here. There we go. Let me place that down here so we can do this. I mean, it's just as much pomp and circumstance as I can. You know, I always just want to have the moment where I just lift it out and over. And yeah. This is a good model, you know, me having the Super Chief set along with it, you know, I'm familiar with this, and it's just good, sturdy, chonky, but unlike the Super Chief set, which is a little bit older, this has some of the new features with the 5.0 Bluetooth. This one allows you to record your own messages into the locomotive, I think up to 3. So that's pretty cool. I mean, if Lionel doesn't have road and number specific advancements, you could do it yourself. So I'm actually really curious to hear what this thing sounds like, if they went to the effort of actually having road specific announcements, or if it's just generic. Either way, since you can record your own, not the biggest issue for me. Now, since this is a locomotive, I will actually lay it on its side where I do the last two things, because if I ever want to make a freight consist, this is a really good start. So the first car here that we have for freight is this Mint car here. For Southern Pacific. Now, as far as Mint cars go, this thing has all the bells and whistles, all the little options you could want as a Mint car. I mean, the trucks and couplers are metal, and this one, I think I've had a good amount of Mint cars, but this one went to the trouble. If you look down in there, I don't know how good the camera angle is, but you'll see there's LED lights in there too. This is actually a lighted car with the pickups, so that's always nice. And then, unlike a lot of Mint cars, actually, this is also a little bit more of a unique metal load in the car. You can see here that This is kind of more of a natural ore look rather than the bullion that they usually have on in there. So that's pretty cool. Kind of gives that more rugged feeling. Certainly for a railroad whose one of their most famous routes is Donner Pass, you know, it kind of fits, you know, that rugged prospector. We're moving through the mountains, this freshly mined ore. The whole reason why we're challenging this inhospitable mountainous area. All right, and then this one is a gondola with little insertables here. And I think these are steel carriers as well. This is pretty typical though for, like, you know, little loads that you can put in, just plastic cleaned in and out. But again, I mean, here, these things are gonna drive me crazy if I try to hold them on the site. But I mean, I'm just so in love with this livery and just how sharp this looks too. Again, all of this Black Widow stuff is from LCCA exclusive items. So that's what they tend to do, is they, you know, will pick items, liveries that aren't in the main Lionel line or something a little bit more unique if you want to get it. I know they have the Doodlebugs right now. They have an Alaskan Railroad Doodlebug, which really looks nice, and there's one more too. I think there was a Texas special one. I think it was. Don't quote me on that. I'm just trying to remember what I saw. But anyway, here, let me get just a final view of everything that we have here. And then we'll put all of this on the track and see how it looks and sounds. So just a quick thing, and then the Mint car as the final addition. And actually, it's going to be a lot more symmetrical if I put it down here. Now, can this go on the side? That's going to have to be good enough. That's going to have to be good enough for now. Use your imagination to adjust, because I'm not going to spend all my energy trying to get this aligned perfectly on its side. But there you go. That's everything for kind of this fall special train unboxing. Let's see how this looks and runs on actual track. Alrighty, time for the moment of truth. Now, since I thought I was already going for the fall theme, you know, with the orange colors and the Black Widow livery, I thought it would just be best to just go all the way and use this wonderful orange fast track here, an affront to all good taste. And of course, if I'm going to be using the orange fast track, then I have to go all the way and use the universal remote right there. So more orange than is ever morally acceptable, but hey, it's my set and I'll run it the way I want. So let's turn this on and see how this thing runs. Alrighty, there she goes. And one quick thing is I combined both the freight and the passenger cars just into one long train here. I'm actually going to pull this forward just a little bit, because one interesting thing that I saw or thought here is that this gondola here, even though it's meant to be like a steel car, it almost kind of looks like a fuel tender. Like you see the locomotives they have on Florida East Coast, how they have kind of the natural gas diesels and they have a fuel tender behind them. So this one almost kind of looks like that. So I mean, if you wanted to pretend, it's not that bad of a look. You know, you could do something of like, hey, we're on a big trip through Donner Pass anyway, need to bring that extra fuel. But anyway, so let's take a listen to the sounds on this thing.
This is the dispatcher. Get us set up right. Your train will be ready at 17:30. Over. Yes, sir. Start up and stand by. Out. Dispatcher, ready to roll. Can I pull? Over. Sit tight for a minute. We've got some traffic to clear first. Out.
What does the dispatcher know? Let's just go. And off we are running to the races, so I'll keep it running fairly slow so you can get a good look at everything. So, positives, I mean, how many times have I said it? I love this livery so much. I mean, I just think it looks so sharp. One of the nice things about it is that, you know, I really do think it kind of has that fall atmosphere to it. And let's say you wanted to, have like a Halloween type layout, but you didn't want to go full whimsy. Like, you didn't want to go full, like, I know Lionel has Halloween themed stuff, like the End of the Line Express and stuff, but you still wanted like a foot in realism. I mean, this would pull it off here. I mean, it looks very nice and Halloweenish, or just this fall type, the fall part of the year. It just really pulls that look off nicely. And of course, it's the Black Widow livery, so that just fits in with Halloween even more. So, I think that, to be honest, this is one of the nicest looking locomotive and rolling stock sets that I have now. I am just so in love with this. But as for critiques, I think that this is priced a little bit high. I think it was like at $440, and that's kind of toward the upper end of the ready-to-run set range, especially since this thing wasn't a full ready-to-run set. It was just the rolling stock. It didn't come with any track or transformer or anything, so that's a little bit you know, that price range puts it into kind of the, if you really, really, really want this particular train set with this livery, then of course go for it. And of course, that's not counting the LCCA fees that you have to pay as well. So I can't really recommend it to anybody who is just looking for a ready-to-run set, period. There are several other options that you can get at much cheaper prices, that if you're just looking for a train set that runs, then that's fine. But if you're like me, who specifically wanted this livery, this Black Widow livery, then yeah, sure. A little bit of a bummer, also that the announcements aren't road and number specific, but I did check out the custom voice announcements feature, and it works just fine, so you can make your own or whatever you want. It's really not that huge of a deal. You know, it would have been a nice thing to see. It's a little bit ironic that a lot of the stuff Lionel releases nowadays that has, like, the road-specific announcements is like the fantasy stuff, you know, like the Polar Express or the Willy Wonka train or the Looney Tunes train or what have you, and you would think they'd want to do it on the more realistic sets, that like the people who would buy the more realistic sets would want the more realistic feature of, you know, saying the train number on it. But, you know, what do I know? Overall, though, I'm really happy with how this turned out, you know, and that's the main thing, you know. Some train sets will be for some people, some for others. Some will want to go full realism and go for the whole legacy. Others just want a ready-to-run set or ready-to-play set, even cheaper. But if it makes you happy and it's what you wanted, that's what matters in the end. So thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I hope you had a great fall, and I hope you enjoy the Christmas season coming up here. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next time I get a new train set.